Hey guys, what's going on? So with the recent change to HP Aggressors, I decided to fully max out my Dark Horan here. As you can see, she has maxed out gems. We got a crit rate here, 6-star. We got HP 6-star here, and another HP 6-star here on the life set. Her on Ruin probably would be better, but these were the gems I had. Most of my Ruin went to my light attackers like the Snowies, etc, etc, so this is what I had for her. I still think it's a pretty good gem set all around, 95k HP, about almost 2800 defense, so pretty good stats, pretty good stats. For this comparison, we're going to be taking our Dark Kraken. She isn't quite as built gem-wise. She does have a 6-star defense maxed out here, but only a plus 12 5-star defense here. So to really compare them fairly, we're gonna have to, I guess, remove the defense gems and the HP gems from Horan. But before we do that, we're going to bring Horan into a, I don't know, just a normal quest here. We're gonna go on Extreme, go for the EXP bonus stage. And another thing, we're going to talk about the differences really quick between HP and defense aggressors as well, and a few things to keep in mind. Dark Horan being an HP aggressor means, for me at least, a much more wide variety to increase her power further with a leader skill. I have Dark Cupid with his leader skill. I have Pebble here, or Granitus with his HP leader skill. The only leader skill I have for defense is my Banshee, and I don't take her everywhere like I do with either Pebble or Dark Cupid. And I think in general there are a lot more opportunities for HP leads than for defense leads. So that, just from what I see, is kind of an advantage there. But if you want to usually take attack leads or crit rate leads, then that doesn't really matter anyway. So yeah, we're just gonna go with a full Dark team here. And the amount of damage Horan actually does is very impressive for her being a tank. You know, I mean, I know she's an HP aggressor. We're just going to check that out really quick here. You can see 3 times 13k. I know she had the elemental advantage versus the light, but if we take like a Mona here, which is a pure glass cannon attacker, she's actually doing a little bit less. Granted, she is also not gemmed perfectly or as strongly as Horan, but it's not too far off. Got Tito as well, doing even less than Mona. Both of them being quite glassy with only 1 survivability gem and being attackers versus Horan as the tank here. Gonna see another little attack there. So basically right off the bat, you can see when she is fully leveled, Evo 3, the good gems, she can be very, very powerful. That's not to say straight off the bat that HP aggressors are now better than defense aggressors, but the general consensus before the update was that it's no question, you know, defense aggressors completely flat out beat HP aggressors. Now that has become much, much smaller, this difference. So now that we're done with this run, you could see a little preview of what a pretty much maxed out Horan can do. You can get her a little bit stronger with a Ruin set, but then that knocks off a little bit of HP, which also might reduce her power a little bit, but I still think you could get more damage out of Ruin. So now, even though it is very expensive, for the sake of science or whatever, I'm sure someone's already done this, but whatever, we're gonna unequip Horan's HP gems because there's a lot of other factors to play besides just calculating their HP percent and all that. There's well, actually, that is it, but it's a lot simpler just to spend 180k gold to unequip them than to do all those calculations. So we're gonna go ahead and do that regretfully. Gonna go ahead and take it off. Kraken's also, she is our defense aggressor for this video. All right, so now that we've done that, Kraken still has a tiny bit from this crit rate gem, but I want to keep the crit rate on because I'm going to be comparing the crits, and I really don't want to spend another 90k for those 2 gems. She also has a little bit more crit damage from this stupid freaking gem that's ruining everything. Okay, well, Horan has absolutely no bonuses from anything. She just has the crit rate, no bonus HP, no bonus crit damage. So we're going to kind of go in here knowing Kraken's a tiny bit stronger. It's not really a big deal, 114 defense and 10% crit damage. Gonna go on the same stage using Kraken as lead, because if we had Cupid as lead, it would be 30% more HP, and that would kind of mess things up a little bit. So first of all, we're just gonna look at damage. I hope I can actually beat this place with them only having 1 gem. So first, taking a look at Horan on the B, we got 45 to 4900 about. Now we're gonna look at Kraken on the B. Kraken attacks 4 times, right? So that was actually quite a bit more damage. Let's look at that again. So Kraken first this time, we got 43. Yeah, she attacks 4 times for about 4,200, so somewhere in the ballpark of about 17,000. Horan is coming in with about 14,000, something around there, so a little bit less damage, but Kraken does have a little bit of an advantage because of the substats on the gyms. Overall, though, I still think Defense Aggressors can do more with the same gyms, but it's honestly pretty close. If there are any math wizards out there that can be bothered, you can tell me what the actual difference would be had Kraken not had the difference. I'm sure it's not very much, but regardless, it is there. Anyway, we're going back to the airship now. So we talked about offense and that Defense Aggressors still can do a little bit more damage, but there is also another thing to keep in mind, in that survivability, HP versus defense again in this case. And the fact that Defense Aggressors have one very, very, very big weakness, and that is defense down, defense break. When a defense aggressor gets affected with defense break, they are pretty much dead if they get a strong hit on them. Whereas on an HP aggressor's case, it doesn't make a huge difference. When they only have 2,300 defense to start with, then cutting it in half will still be 1,200, you know? So of course it is a big difference, but not nearly as big as when someone has 6,000 and it gets reduced to 3,000. So while HP aggressors can't deal quite as much damage as defense aggressors, I still think they are on par with each other because of HP's better survivability. And I know there's the argument that HP is harder to heal, and that's definitely true. So of course it depends on where you're taking them, what the situation is, if you're even having a healer. For example, I've been going with Cupid Lead and Horan a lot recently, and they work absolutely fabulously together, because even though when Cupid does get his shield off, for example, it won't heal her for much, obviously. Not only does Dark Cupid not have much recovery, so his heal won't do much, but also trying to heal this huge HP pool, which is at about 95,000 when she has her gyms back on, is pretty much impossible. But his shield is pretty special, grants a shield to allies proportional to own max HP for 3 turns. A lot of people have been saying that this is actually depending on how much HP the other shielded units have. So for example, when Cupid gives a shield to Horan, that shield strength will depend on how much HP she has. So bringing Cupid not only gives her more HP with his lead skill, but also gives her a stronger shield because it depends on her HP. And I think I have noticed this as well. So the more glass units that he gives shields to break easier than Horan's, for example. Also in places like Astromon League, where you may not really have a healer, I do bring Cupid in there. That's more for a shield, not much for the actual recovery he gives. But in places like Astromon League, where it is usually a pretty quick battle, you don't really need to heal, depending on your team composition, I think having a larger HP pool is definitely better for survivability versus defense. So with all that being said, even though HP aggressors can do a little bit less damage, I still think I prefer them maybe a little bit more now to defense aggressors, because it's just the fact that if you get defense broken as a defense aggressor pretty much anywhere, you're going to take so much more damage. And as far as passive healing solutions to the huge HP pool, there are some options, although not really good ones. Like I think Light Cupid heals 10% of the allies' HP, so it's not based on his own HP. And I think even Light Shura or so also does this. Yeah, grants a 100% chance to restore 10% of allies' HP, so he'd be really good in a very high HP team. But yeah, that's a bit besides the point now. Most people are running Water Persephones or Jax, which heals based on their own HP, so of course that wouldn't do much to very high HP units. But yeah, so that was just a little comparison. You're free to make your own judgments on HP versus defense aggressor. Personally, I think both types are awesome, being able to do a lot of damage while being still very, very survivable. I think that's a pretty cool thing to have in a unit, regardless if it's defense or HP, where you're getting your survivability. Still though, while I'm not sure if HP aggression is better per se, I think I like them more. So I'm gonna go ahead and equip those gyms back on. There we go. Her, I'm not totally sure if I'm going to equip them back on immediately, because her gym set was kind of weird. I was thinking about replacing that 5-star with a 6-star finally. It's just that this 6-star down there had a ton of crit rate. Also, I'd like to give her a set at one point, either Intuition or Ruin. Well, whatever. I'll decide that later. But so yeah, this is where I'm going to wrap up the video. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on HP versus defense aggression. Tell me if you have since raised an HP aggressor, or you have one that's quite strong after the update buffed them. Also make sure to drop a like if you did enjoy. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.